What if I told you that a single judge just stopped a law that could have stripped healthcare access from over 1 million low-income Americans? Would you believe this ruling might be the only thing standing between families and the loss of cancer screenings, birth control, and STI testing? That's exactly what happened. So here's the question. Is this a permanent victory or just a temporary pause before bigger cuts take hold? Welcome to Social Security Post, where we break down the most important news affecting your health and your finances. If you care about Medicaid, reproductive care, or how federal laws really impact people like you, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Stick with me until the end because I'll explain what this means for future rulings and whether this protection will last. It all began with the One Big Beautiful Bill, a massive tax and spending law signed on July 4th, 2025. Among its many changes was one provision that caused national uproar. It blocked Medicaid funding from going to organizations that provide abortion services or are affiliated with those that do. While it didn't mention Planned Parenthood by name, it was clear who the target was. The law stated that any organization receiving more than $800,000 from Medicaid in 2023 would lose their funding if they offered or supported abortion services. With nearly 600 clinics operating under the Planned Parenthood banner in 48 states, the impact of this rule would have been massive, forcing many to shut their doors or turn away Medicaid patients who depend on them. Within days of the law's passage, Planned Parenthood filed a lawsuit in federal court. They argued that the new rule was unconstitutional and dangerous. The case landed in front of Judge Indira Talwani in Boston, and it wasn't just about reproductive rights, it was about healthcare for millions. Planned Parenthood emphasized that most of the services they offer under Medicaid, such as cancer screenings, STI testing, and birth control, have nothing to do with abortion. Yet the law punished all their clinics indiscriminately. The lawsuit claimed this violated their First and Fifth Amendment rights and that the government was effectively trying to shut down vital health care under the guise of a budget cut. Judge Talwani didn't waste time. She agreed with Planned Parenthood on several legal points and issued a nationwide injunction blocking the Medicaid cuts from taking effect. Her ruling said the law likely violated the U.S. Constitution in 3 ways: by punishing Planned Parenthood without a trial, by infringing on their right to associate with affiliates, and by denying equal protection under the law. In her opinion, Judge Talwani wrote that Medicaid patients would likely suffer immediate harm if the funding was cut. She pointed out that disrupting care, especially for cancer detection, birth control, and sexually transmitted infections, could lead to serious health problems and even deaths in vulnerable communities. So, the cuts were put on hold. Had the law taken full effect, more than 1 million Medicaid recipients would have lost access to Planned Parenthood services. These patients, many of them low-income, rural, or uninsured, rely on these clinics not just for reproductive care, but for general health screenings, family planning, and even referrals to hospitals. This wasn't just about politics. It was about survival. In states with limited access to affordable health care, Planned Parenthood clinics are often the only source of care for miles. Women, especially in underserved communities, would have faced longer travel times, higher costs, and even the loss of preventive treatments that could save their lives. This ruling didn't just impact Planned Parenthood, it sent a message across the country. It showed that courts are willing to step in when lawmakers pass aggressive laws without considering constitutional limits or public health. But it also made clear how fragile these protections are. The ruling is temporary. This is just a preliminary injunction while the case moves forward. A future court or even the Supreme Court could reverse it, and that makes it even more important for people to stay informed and engaged because the future of Medicaid access for millions still hangs in the balance. The ruling sparked reactions across the country. In Montana, caregivers and residents held rallies to protest the looming Medicaid cuts, calling them an attack on working families. In Virginia, Democrats launched a billboard campaign targeting lawmakers who supported the bill, warning that it would hurt rural hospitals and low-income seniors. Other states saw similar movements. Health professionals, community leaders, and everyday citizens stood up to say, Cutting Medicaid doesn't just hurt a political opponent, it hurts real people. This groundswell of activism could play a major role in how future legislation is shaped and challenged. If you're a Medicaid recipient, here's the bottom line. Your access to care through Planned Parenthood remains intact for now. You can still visit your clinic, schedule appointments, and get the care you need, but be aware, this could change depending on what happens next in the courts. Now is the time to double-check your Medicaid status, make sure your contact information is up to date, and stay connected with local providers. If changes come again, you'll want to be prepared and informed before it impacts your coverage. Planned Parenthood's CEO, Alexis McGill Johnson, praised the ruling as a victory for healthcare access. She reminded the public that most of what these clinics provide has nothing to do with abortion and everything to do with preventive care, health equity, and basic dignity. Legal experts say the case is far from over, but many agree that the constitutional arguments in this case are strong. Some are already predicting it could go to the Supreme Court if the government appeals. Until then, clinics will continue to operate and patients will continue to seek care, with uncertainty looming. What happens now? The case will proceed to the next stage of litigation, with hearings expected later this year. The Department of Justice may file an appeal, and there's a real possibility that the Supreme Court could weigh in sometime in 2026. In the meantime, lawmakers may try to amend the One Big Beautiful Bill to reintroduce Medicaid cuts in a different form. That's why staying alert is so important. Legal victories like this one are often only the beginning of a much longer battle. This court ruling is a major win, but it's not the final chapter. Like for millions of low-income Americans, continued access to healthcare still hangs in the balance. Judges can make decisions, but it's public awareness and engagement that protect those decisions from being overturned. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe to Social Security Post. We're here to keep you informed about the stories that matter, from Social Security and Medicaid to the laws shaping your future. And tell us in the comments, do you think this ruling will hold? Should Medicaid funding for clinics like Planned Parenthood be protected? Stay informed, stay engaged, and we'll see you in the next one. Before we go, just remember this. When court decisions like these happen, they aren't just legal victories or political statements. They're lifelines for real people, mothers who need cancer screenings, young adults trying to prevent unplanned pregnancies, and low-income families who rely on a single clinic for their care. These rulings protect dignity, health, and choice, and whether you're directly affected or simply care about what kind of country we're building, your voice, your vote, and your awareness matter more than ever.